Let me guess. I'm speaking too slowly for you, aren't I? You probably want to speed this up. Maybe you already have. Maybe your finger is hovering over the settings menu right now, itching to switch to 1.5x or 2x speed. It's almost a reflex, a twitch. And here is the strange thing. You aren't even doing it consciously anymore. It has become the default setting of your existence. We live in a world that has declared war on the pause. We treat silence and slowness as inefficiencies, glitches in the system that need to be optimized out. We devour podcasts, audiobooks, tutorials, and even entertainment at double speed, convincing ourselves that we are hacking productivity. We tell ourselves we are learning faster, absorbing more, and saving time. But are we? Or are we simply terrified of the gaps? There is a profound psychological shift happening right now, one that is rewriting the way your brain processes reality. It is not just about impatience. It is not just about having a short attention span. Those are just the symptoms. Beneath the surface, there is something far more complex at play. It is a fundamental alteration in how we experience the passage of time itself. And the question that lingers is, what happens to the human mind when it forgets how to wait? It is easy to assume that people who speed-watch content are just busy. We look at the high performers, the students, the hustle culture devotees, and we think they just value their time. But that is not the full picture. If you look closely at your own habits, you might notice that you speed up content even when you have nowhere to be. You rush through a movie on a lazy Sunday. You skip the silence in a conversation during a video essay, even when you are just lying in bed. This isn't about time management. It is about tolerance. Specifically, our diminishing tolerance for low dopamine states. See, for the modern brain, normal speed has started to feel like pain. It registers as a form of friction. When a speaker takes a breath, when a scene in a movie lingers on a landscape, when a song has a slow intro, your brain starts to panic. It screams for the next hit of information, the next plot point, the next punchline. We have trained ourselves to equate density with value. If a second passes without a new stimulus, we feel like we are being robbed. Psychologists call this habituation. It is the same mechanism that happens with drug tolerance. The more high-speed, high-density information you consume, the higher your baseline becomes. Normal conversation starts to feel sluggish. Real life, with its awkward pauses, its slow progressions, its lack of jump cuts, starts to feel unbearable. You find yourself zoning out when a friend tells a story, not because you don't care, but because they aren't getting to the point fast enough. You are waiting for the skip intro button on reality, and it terrifies you that you can't find it. This is the secret psychology behind speed watching. It is not an efficiency hack. It is an avoidance strategy. We are running away from the unfilled moment, because in that moment, in that tiny gap between sentences, in that second of silence, something dangerous happens. We are forced to sit with ourselves. We are forced to feel the weight of our own thoughts without the distraction of incoming data. And for many of us, that silence has become deafening. So we fill it. We compress the silence. We trim the fat. We maximize the input. But in doing so, we are losing something vital. We are losing the ability to process. Think about it. Information is not knowledge. Consuming a lecture at 2x speed means you have heard the words, but have you felt them? Have you let them sink into the deeper architecture of your mind? Comprehension requires a certain friction. It requires the time for an idea to land, to echo, to connect with a memory, to spark an emotion. When we speed watch, we are skimming the surface of understanding. We are collecting data points, but we are not experiencing wisdom. We are turning art into content. We are turning storytelling into data transfer. When you watch a film at 1.5x speed, you are stripping it of its emotional resonance. The director left that pause there for a reason. The actor held that breath for a reason. It is in those spaces, the spaces we are so eager to delete, that the humanity lives. By erasing the pauses, we are erasing the soul of the communication. We are consuming the plot, but missing the story. And this bleeds into how we view our own lives. Because whether we admit it or not, the way we consume media reshapes how we perceive our own existence. If you spend 10 hours a day consuming hyper-compressed, sped-up reality, your internal clock resets. You start expecting your own life to move at that pace. You get frustrated when your career doesn't advance in a montage sequence. You get irritated when a relationship takes months to develop instead of episodes. You start feeling like your own life is lagging. This creates a subtle, chronic anxiety, a feeling that you are falling behind, even when you are standing still. It is the fear of missing out mutated into the fear of being slow. But let's go deeper. Why does normal speed feel so excruciating? It is because we have decoupled attention from interest. In the past, if something was boring, you stopped watching it. You walked away. Today, we don't walk away. We just speed it up. We try to brute force our way through boredom. We tell ourselves, I need to finish this, even if we aren't enjoying it. We treat leisure like labor. We treat entertainment like a checklist. This is a form of emotional burnout. We are so exhausted by the sheer volume of content available to us that we feel a compulsion to get through it all. There is simply too much to watch, too much to know, too much to be part of. So, speed becomes our survival mechanism. It is the only way we can feel like we are keeping our heads above water in the ocean of information. But here is the paradox. The faster we go, the less we actually retain. There is a concept in psychology known as the retention deficit in rapid serial visual presentation. Essentially, when information comes at us too fast, our brain enters a sort of triage mode. It grabs the headlines, the keywords, the main concepts, but it discards the nuance. It discards the texture. You might finish an audiobook in half the time, but 3 days later, can you recall the specific phrasing that moved you? Can you remember the tone of the author's voice? Or do you just remember the gist? We are trading depth for width. We are becoming encyclopedias of summaries, knowing the headline of everything and the heart of nothing. And this is where the real tragedy lies. The people who can no longer stand normal speed are often the ones who are starving for connection. They are desperate to feel something, to learn something, to be moved. But they have trapped themselves in a cycle where the very method they use to seek connection, speed, prevents them from actually finding it. You cannot rush intimacy. You cannot speed run an epiphany. Some psychologists suggest that this behavior is linked to a lack of emotional regulation. We use the constant stream of fast-paced information to regulate our internal states. If we stop, we might feel sad. If we slow down, we might feel anxious. If we pause, we might remember that thing we are trying to forget. So we keep the dial at 2x. We keep the noise high and the pace fast so that nothing else can break through. It is a shield, a fortress built of rapid-fire words and jump cuts. But what happens when you step outside that system? What happens when you force yourself to slow down? At first, it is painful, physically painful. Your brain itches. You feel a restless energy in your legs. You check your phone. You check the time. You feel like you are wasting your life. This is the withdrawal. This is your brain crying out for its dopamine fix. But if you push through that initial discomfort, if you sit with the boredom long enough, something shifts. The world starts to come back into focus. You begin to notice the cadence of a voice. You start to hear the emotion behind the words, not just the information they carry. You realize that the pause wasn't empty, it was full. It was full of hesitation or contemplation or unspoken feeling. You start to reclaim your own sense of time. There is a quiet rebellion in choosing to watch something at 1x speed in a 2x world. It is a declaration that you are not a machine processing data. You are a human being experiencing a moment. It is about refusing to commodify your own attention. Because when you speed watch, you are telling yourself that the value of the content is only in its conclusion. You are telling yourself that the journey is just an obstacle to get to the destination. But life is nothing but the journey. If you speed through every moment to get to the end, what are you rushing toward? The end of the video? The end of the day? The end of your life? We need to ask ourselves what we are saving all this time for. We rush through a 2-hour movie in 1 hour. We save 60 minutes. And what do we do with those 60 minutes? Do we meditate? Do we sit in silence? Do we create art? No. Usually, we just watch another video. We scroll for another hour. We aren't creating time. We are just cramming more consumption into the same 24 hours. We are like hamsters on a wheel that is spinning faster and faster, thinking that if we just run hard enough, we will finally reach the horizon. But the wheel just keeps spinning. There is a philosophical undertone to this speed addiction. It reflects a society that values having done over doing. We want to have watched the show, not watch it. We want to have read the book, not read it. We collect completion badges. We treat culture like a task list. I need to get through this series so I can talk about it at work. I need to watch this tutorial so I can say I know this skill. It is performative consumption. But true learning, true enjoyment, is inefficient. It is messy. It takes time. It involves wandering, getting bored, thinking about something else, and then coming back. It involves the digestive process of the mind. When we bypass that, we get mental indigestion. We get bloated with information but starved for meaning. And maybe, just maybe, the people who refuse to speed up are the ones who understand something the rest of us have forgotten. They understand that time is not an enemy to be defeated. It is a medium to be inhabited. They watch the movie at normal speed because they want to live in that world for a while. They listen to the podcast at normal speed because they enjoy the company of the host. They aren't trying to get it over with. They are trying to be there. There is a concept called temporal sovereignty. It is the right to control your own time. When you let the algorithm or the pressure of productivity dictate the speed at which you process reality, you surrender that sovereignty. You become a passenger in your own mind, strapped into a vehicle that is going too fast for you to see the view. Reclaiming that sovereignty starts with the small, uncomfortable act of pressing normal speed. It starts with listening to a song and not skipping the outro. It starts with watching a tutorial and actually doing the steps along with it, rather than just watching it to know it. It starts with having a conversation and letting the silence hang in the air for a few seconds without rushing to fill it. In those moments of chosen slowness, you might find that your anxiety begins to dissipate. Because you are no longer racing against a clock that you wound yourself. You are no longer trying to outrun the present moment. You might find that you start to remember things better, that your creative ideas have space to bloom. Creativity requires idleness. It requires the brain to be in a default mode network, wandering and making loose connections. Speed kills creativity because it demands focus on the external input. Slowness invites the internal output. So, the next time you feel that twitch, that urge to tap the gear icon and select 1.5x, pause. Ask yourself, why am I rushing? Is this content actually bad? If so, turn it off. Don't speed it up, delete it. Respect your time enough to not consume garbage, even fast garbage. But if the content is good, if it is meaningful, if it is worth your time, then give it your time. Give it your full, unadulterated, uncompressed attention. Treat it like a meal, not a pill. Savor the texture. You might be surprised by how much richness you have been missing. You might realize that the world isn't actually slow. You were just moving too fast to see it. Colors look different when you aren't blurring past them. Voices sound different when you let them breathe. Ideas feel different when you let them land. This isn't about being anti-technology. It's not about going back to the Stone Age. It is about mastering the tools instead of letting the tools master us. The speed toggle is a utility, not a lifestyle. There is a deep, quiet power in being the person who isn't in a hurry. The person who can sit through a long story. The person who can watch a sunset without checking how long it's been. The person who allows the world to unfold at its own pace. Because in a world that is screaming, faster, 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 the most radical thing you can do is slow down. The most rebellious act is to take a breath. To refuse to be optimized. To refuse to be efficient with your soul. Maybe the reason we are all so tired isn't because we aren't doing enough. Maybe it's because we are doing too much, too fast, with too little feeling. We are burning out our dopamine receptors, frying our attention spans, and exhausting our capacity for wonder. We are racing toward the grave, trying to save time, only to arrive at the end and realize we saved all of it but spent none of it. So, let the video play. Let the pause linger. Let the silence sit there, heavy and awkward and real. Because that silence, that is where you exist. That is where life happens. Not in the blur, but in the stillness. Not in the summary, but in the sentence. And when you finally stop running, you might just find that you are exactly where you needed to be all along. You didn't need to get there faster. You just needed to be there fully. The psychology of speed watching is ultimately a psychology of escape. We are escaping the present because the present feels insufficient. But the present is only insufficient because we aren't paying attention to it. We are looking over its shoulder, waiting for the next thing. When you stop escaping, when you stop fast-forwarding, the present moment opens up. It deepens. It reveals layers you didn't know were there. It turns out, the world is quite interesting at 1x speed. It has a rhythm. It has a heartbeat. It has a pulse that matches your own. Don't let the digital world reprogram your biology. Don't let the fear of boredom rob you of the joy of existence. Take your finger off the button. Let the seconds tick by one, unhurried, unskipped. It's okay. You have time. You have all the time in the world if you just stop trying to save it.